Hello, this is Shira, and today I'd like to talk about the rare Jupiter-Saturn conjunction on December 21st, 2020 at 0 degrees Aquarius. This is a rare conjunction because the last time this conjunction occurred was 60 years ago. So let's look at Jupiter and Saturn separately to see what's in store for us over the next year. So, Jupiter represents expansion, it rules intellectualism, it rules spirituality, it rules philosophy, and it can also rule prosperity, wealth, luck. Jupiter is overall a positive planet. Gives us a positive outlook. It is wise. Saturn is also wise. However, Saturn can bring blocks into our life. But Saturn is wise with maturity, with experience. Saturn, like Jupiter, is also intelligent. However, Saturn kind of puts the brakes on things a little bit. It helps us to realize the practical aspects of life, the intellectual with practical application. Okay, and Saturn, kind of like Jupiter, is a teacher. And what happens when we put Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in Aquarius? Well, let's look at what Aquarius represents. Aquarius is scientific, known for genius, intellectual, unexpected, unique. Also, Aquarius is an air sign. So Aquarius represents that which is detached, not emotional. So, what can we expect when we have Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in Aquarius? Well, we can say there will probably be a lot of intellectual and yet practical discoveries, both scientifically and academically. And Jupiter and Saturn, especially Jupiter, rule the mind. So that also rules the collective mind, and it rules humanitarianism. Uranus, Jupiter, Saturn, Aquarius. So there will be a lot of great strides in how we treat each other, our humanitarianism, and there may be some legislation that is connective with expanding our treatment of others, or corrections about how we treat others. Also includes animals as well. So we may see some great improvements, not only how we treat each other, our animals, but what comes about as far as like cures for diseases, great intellectual strides right now, and Saturn, practical inventions that we can use on an everyday level that helps us to expand our lives in general. Okay, so this is going to be a whole wealth of knowledge that we experience over the next year. Okay, and Uranus depositor is Taurus. Uranus in Taurus. And what does Taurus rule? It represents our Earth. So you can bet that over the next year that there will be great strides in cleaning up our environment and taking care of our Earth. And again, that goes back to animals, our humanity, and so on and so forth, along with great scientific strides. That also rules space exploration, age of Aquarius, Jupiter, Saturn. So we will be focused a lot, not on scientists or science alone, but we will be exploring that which is beyond space. And that can also include metaphysics on a grand scale. All right, so let's see how Jupiter and Saturn will affect us individually. Starting off with Aries. If you've got Aries rising, Jupiter and Saturn will be in your natal or solar 11th house. And the 11th house, interesting, is ruled by Aquarius. So for you, Aries rising, Jupiter and Saturn will have a very special effect on your life and how you connect with others, especially friends. People that you've known will re-enter your life or will become more important to you, more on an intellectual level. Maybe you and your friends will fulfill some goals that you have always wanted to. Maybe you guys will develop some kind of an invention together, a business. It's very united with your friends, and not just on a mundane level, but on a higher intellectual level. Okay, perhaps you will get involved with some kind of groups that you feel like you have great intellectual exchange with. And you may, for the first time in your life, realize some of your very closely cherished dreams and goals, and you will be very inspirational to others. Maybe you will be a person that people seek out for your intellectual opinions, and you could be a speaker and inspire other people towards their goals and higher mind. Okay, a lot of very interesting people are going to enter your life, Aries, and of intellectual capabilities, and expand your life in all areas. Okay, so if you've got Taurus rising, Uranus, and Saturn and Jupiter connected with Aquarius, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction will be in your 10th house. And yes, Uranus is very represented here. Okay, especially if you have Jupiter and Saturn connected with your midheaven or the apex or the highest point in your chart. You can guarantee this will be a time of expansion in your career and your job. You may feel like you have the job of a lifetime, that you create the job that you've been waiting for years. This is a great time for status, reputation. You may finally get the recognition that you've always wanted. And because it is an Aquarius, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is an Aquarius, you may feel like you want to do some kind of work where it is both humanitarian, helping others, or that could also include the internet. And it could be very independent. You may start your own business or do some kind of unusual, yes, Uranus, Aquarius, Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, something unusual. And that could also mean for you, you may start an invention or be known for your inventiveness with regards to your unusual career. So great strides are going to be made for you and your goals, your aspirations, and you will be sought out for your intellectual capabilities or your work or your ambition. Very powerful time for you, Taurus. Okay, now Gemini, also Uranus with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius will be connected with your ninth house, and ninth house rules philosophy, it rules religion, and again, the ninth house rules academia. So this is a great and special time for you, Gemini, to do some serious studying. That may not be that you are going back to school so much, but connected with your work, research. You may find that you want to go back to school, and this expands your knowledge in some way. And maybe you haven't been able to complete your schooling, and this is the perfect time for you. You may discover some intellectual insights as never before. All right. And Uranus with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, you may discover you have an interest in unusual subjects. Okay. So this is a good time for you also to do some long distance travel. And of course, the ninth house rules contracts. You may sign an important contract now that is very progressive to your career. Okay, and this is a good time for all legal connections. Okay, it may be a time that a lawsuit comes to fruition for you, or you choose to begin one. Okay, now Cancer, Sun, or rising. This Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius occurs in your natal or solar 8th house. And 8th house is a very deep house. So you may have some deep psychological, personal insights that you wish to discover or to expand on. And again, 8th house also rules deep insights, the occult, also rules deep-seated emotions, and it also rules psychology. So these areas of emotional depth are going to become very important to you. Okay, anything that deals with the physical, the emotional depth, transformation. You are transforming your beliefs, your psychology. Okay, you are going to look at other areas of philosophy, spirituality. On a practical note, 8th house also rules mortgages. You may pay off a mortgage, you may begin a mortgage. Also, 8th house rules money on a grand scale. You may come into a lot of money, maybe from a will or a trust. You may be called upon to oversee a will or a trust. Play the lotto because you never know. 8th house rules large amount of money. Okay, now if you have Leo rising, you have the Saturn Jupiter conjunction in your solar or natal 7th house. And what does 7th house rule? It rules partnerships. So you may feel like you meet the love of your life. You may decide to get married, and this expands your life greatly. Seventh house, kind of like ninth house, rules legal concerns. And for you as well, you may decide to begin some kind of a lawsuit or legal matter, or some kind of a long-standing legal matter, perhaps a lawsuit or otherwise, finally comes to a close, and you may profit from this. And seventh house rules gatherings. It also rules your connections with the public. So you may find yourself involved with a lot of public relations or a lot of gatherings, or people look to you to be a leader, to voice your opinion or to gather many people together. And that also can include the internet, and this will be very rewarding for you as well. Okay, so if you have Virgo rising, your Saturn, Jupiter conjunction will be in your natal or solar sixth house. And sixth house rules health, it rules our well-being, it rules pets, it rules the mundane, our work, job. So you will have a lot of success in these areas. Maybe you get the job of a lifetime, something that you've been waiting on, and now suddenly you get a job and it allows you to travel or to have the freedom that you've never had before. Okay, maybe you get a pet that becomes very meaningful for you and your family or helps you in some way. All right, maybe you start a health regime that's not for you just about diet and exercise. It's what this health regime incorporates and expands for your whole life. Okay, so it wouldn't be just about gaining weight or losing weight. It might be about eating right, eating well, and how this helps your life all together. Okay, now if you have Libra rising, your Saturn Jupiter conjunction is in your natal or solar fifth house. And the fifth house rules fun, it rules joy. So if you feel like as of late your life has been kind of stuck in a rut and you've wanted to take some trips you've wanted to take and you haven't had the chance to really find the meaning of joy and happiness, maybe some R&R time, this is going to be for you. And your family may expand. Maybe you've wanted to expand your family, or those as closest to you are expanding their family, and that affects you. Maybe you are going to be doing some kind of work with children, okay, or recreation. And also sometimes the fifth house also rules gambling. It's a great time. Play the lotto. You never know. You could win unexpectedly, and this allows you to increase joy and fun into your life. All right. So fifth house is a very light-hearted house. So this is a time for you, Libra rising, to really just finally just kick back and have some fun. All right. Now, if you are Scorpio rising, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction Aquarius is in your natal or solar fourth house. And fourth house, kind of like the fifth house, rules family, but it also rules our physical house. So your family could expand, and you may decide to buy or sell property. You may decide to move this year, and perhaps maybe you haven't moved in years and you find the perfect house for you, or you finally got some kind of money that suddenly, Aquarius, came in and allowed you to do some kind of renovation or investing. Okay, so fourth house rules the physical house and family. So good for all areas there for you as well, Scorpio. If you have Sagittarius rising, Saturn and Jupiter will be in your natal or solar third house. And third house rules communications. So you may feel, Sagittarius, that you have something to say. This is a great time for you to invest in writing. Maybe you've wanted to do some freelance writing, or you've wanted to write that book for years. Now's the time you're going to get to write the book, to do a lot of writing, to kind of put out to the world what you feel about certain issues and communication, and how this is going to expand your life personally. That novel may get published for the first time and that you have put aside, and this somehow expands your life. Third house is also neighbors. Maybe you'll get to know your neighbors better, and somehow, some way, your neighbors or those closest to you will somehow benefit your life in some way and help you. Third house also rules vehicles. So you might get a new car or truck that somehow helps your life, and you will also be considering taking some short distance trips this year that will increase some kind of fun and communication in your life. Okay, Capricorn rising. The Jupiter-Saturn conjunction occurs in your second house. And what does second house rule? It rules finances. With Jupiter and Saturn there, you may take some practical application to your finances. And yes, you may find unexpected sources of wealth coming to you. Your cash flow will increase, Capricorn or Capricorn rising. You may feel like, wow, did I hit the lottery? My bank balance now is increasing since this conjunction. And on a more practical level, Saturn, this is a great time for investing and saving money. And the second house also rules our speech, and it also rules what we value. So maybe there was a dormant collection that you will take up again, or start a collection that becomes very meaningful or is very valuable for you. Okay, Aquarius rising. Jupiter and Saturn are in your natal or solar first house. So right now you want to expand upon your appearance, your approach. You may feel that maybe you've wanted to change your hairstyle or your style in general, how you come across to other people. But to some degree, Aquarius, you're going to be a leader, because Jupiter and Saturn are in your first house. So maybe those closest to you, or people that you work with, or anybody, are going to seek you out for your wisdom and your knowledge. You may be a leader in your field of profession. And so whatever you have to say is going to be very inspirational and intelligent to other people. So it's not just a outward change for you and expanding on your appearance, your style, your approach, but your appeal to other people that will be very attractive and intelligent. If you have Pisces rising, Pisces, you've got the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in your natal or solar 12th house. So if you've been feeling blocked somehow psychologically, emotionally, maybe you've been taking on a little bit more and you've been feeling stressful, Pisces, this is a great time for you to do a little psychology on yourself. Maybe you may connect with some therapists or those that will help you to kind of figure out certain areas of your life where you've felt emotionally blocked, and you gain a huge amount of insight from kind of doing a little psychology. So this is a time of feeling free. Maybe you've had some issues from the past, 12th house, that now you do a little psychology and you can discover, wow, you know what? I never knew this before. This person really helped me, and now I feel so much freer to express myself and to expand on my life. Also, 12th house is a connection with medicine or medical. So you may have a procedure or procedures medically that will help you to feel better, or help you with your mobility somehow in your life. But 12th house is also about secrets. Maybe there's going to be some secrets from the past or hidden information that becomes available for you as never before. But it's a very freeing experience for you psychologically. So the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction is going to be, as you can see, very expanding and very rare. And we are definitely going to take a different viewpoint of our life altogether, starting December 21st. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my email is quasi, QUASI, MOS, one word, 9, @gmail.com. I give written reports if you would like to look ahead to the next 3, 6, or 12 months. And I give one-on-one readings. So, until next time, many, many blessings.